Go ahead, next question.
All right. You know, this is a large universe, and as you can tell, the reaction in the crowd, everyone's really into it. Was there any trepidation from the actors and actresses approaching this such a large, you know, genre and universe and being able to put their stamp on it?
David, answer that question.
No, absolutely. I can only speak from my own perspective, and being someone who has seen every episode of SG-1 and every episode of Atlantis, and, yeah, and to be honest, damn near every sci-fi show out there. It was, on one side of things, definitely wanted to give respect to the world that already existed, but even more so, I was looking forward to contribute to it. I was looking forward to build on what was already there and give you guys a perspective that you might not have been given in the previous shows. So for me, it's a matter of pride to be part of it, but also just this immense responsibility in every scene to make sure we get it right for you. That's the way that I look at it anyway.
It's great because Robert and I can't be there all the time, and in the early going, little things like how does a Stargate work and how, you know, David already knew the answer to those questions, so we got an actor/technical advisor.
Or not, right?
It's true. Go ahead.
What I'd like to know is, for the cast, is how did you guys prepare for the role?
Brian?
Well, you know, first you have to have some kind of response to the writing. You know, that's immediately what grabbed my attention was the writing for the pilot. It was just incredibly complex. The character, you know, for me it was kind of to tag back to that last question about the genre and going in the you know, the universe of the genre. For me, it was more important that I was playing a soldier, and I did a lot of research on you know, the military, what this kid's training would have been like, how he holds himself, how he talks, how he looks at the world, and that's been a pretty big part of my preparation to get into the show. It's really cool.
We've always had an association with the military and Stargate, and a respect for you know, the people who serve in the military, and these guys are embodying those characters very seriously. Jamil and Brian are pretty. They come across as real tough guys and really great soldiers, and I think that serves them proud. Next question.
I guess this question is for Brad and Robert. Atlantis was ended prematurely, and I wonder if you're going to try and tie it.
Sorry, it was an elevator. Rob?
Brad flipped a coin.
You know,
First of all, I agree with you to a certain extent about the fact that there were still more stories that could have been told on Atlantis, but I think it's unfair to say that after 5 seasons and 100 episodes, it was premature. I mean, a lot of shows don't last one season. So we had a really good run with Atlantis, and we were very grateful to have given the opportunity to explore those characters and tell the stories in that world as long as we did. So. You know, it's always tough to field those types of questions because in some ways we kind of look at each other and say, hey, you know, our second series went 5 seasons. That's pretty good. That's kind of what you hope for when you start out. And we'd be very fortunate, consider ourselves very fortunate if this went 5 seasons. So premature is probably not the right word, but at the same time, we're obviously still keeping all of the elements of the franchise alive any way we can, and certainly, you know, as everybody knows, characters, shows, nobody dies in science fiction. Nothing's ever dead.
except the doctors. No.
There's one for you.
I'm just repeating what he said. I didn't say that myself.
Okay, this is my question for Brad and Rob. SG-1 and Atlantis seem to be more episodic for content, but from what I've heard for Universe, you're going to be a lot more streamlined, more, serialized.
We've always respected a series arc in both SG-1 and Atlantis. We've always tried to acknowledge what came before and never reset back to zero in an episode so that we didn't undo things, except the sarcophagus. But we wanted always the casual viewer, the occasional viewer, to be able to access the show. It's difficult when you get too serialized, because, I love some television shows, and if you miss, because you live your life, you're busy, you miss a couple of episodes, you can turn it on and you go, what the hell's going on? We don't want that to happen in SGU. There's no question that it does have a broader, more continuing storyline. However, it will reward any viewer though that just turns on episode 5. But please start from 1.
The serialized nature of the show will come more from the aspect of the character stories, and in many ways that came out of our desire to tell stories more from the character's perspective. I mean, we've done 300 and something episodes of Stargate, and when you're sitting around the writer's room, it's you do end up saying, yeah, no, we've done that one before. Yeah, we've done that one before. But what's new and what's fresh is seeing certain experiences from these characters' points of view, and that's how we've approached this show. And so in many ways, the serialization is going to come from what's happening to them on a week-to-week basis. Hopefully, what will keep you coming back as a viewer is saying, well, I can't wait to see what Dr. Rush does this week, as opposed to maybe what the specific adventures.
And the other fun thing about these characters is that not all these folks, in fact, none of these folks are supposed to be where they are in the series. They were supposed to be evacuating back to Earth, as you got hints of in the trailer. So that's enabled us to put characters together in a Stargate milieu that wouldn't, in any normal circumstance, be on another planet or on another part of the universe. They knocked on Eli's door in the trailer, and that's how we got there.
The other thing that I think that I think I can tell you is that big things are going to happen very quickly. That in terms of what happens and what unfolds in the show, even in the first 10 episodes, Brad and I are not big fans of shows that sort of have one little story that they're going to try and stretch out over 7 seasons. And so you're going to find that, if you do skip an episode, you might miss something huge, that there will be major revelations in terms of what's going on with these characters and the storylines. I think, in fact, you might be surprised at some of the major changes and shakeups that happen as we go along, even in the first 10.